Well, I was heading out to my local pool joint, but it looks like that dream might be coming to an end. It's coming down pretty hard. Yeah, this town closes down when it snows more than a half-inch. So it looks like I'm stuck working on my shop. Yeah, there's things to do in here. Always. I'm restoring tools. Yeah, old like antique tools and stuff that are stuck and seized. And it's fun. It's fun. This place is a mess. It's time to get it organized and cleaned up. All that stuff in the middle of the floor, that has to be put away, thrown out, and organized. What we got in here? Boxes of stuff. Y'all want to see my organization skills? Just stuff that I need to find quickly. It's like the ultimate man cave. I'm getting there. You should have saw it last month. It's still snowing hard. It sucks. The snow let up, so it's still kind of flurrying, but you can tell it's not going to accumulate to anything. So I made a break for it. I gotta get out there and play because I didn't play yesterday and I'm jonesing. Yeah. On that last video, we talked about seeing the whole pattern and the layout of the balls and seeing it in your imagination before you start running it out, and your subconscious will wind up doing a whole lot of the work on the runout. I'm going to ask you to do the same thing here. In fact, do the same thing on every runout. But this one is really easier. It doesn't get much easier than this. That was the windshield wipers. So this would be a great practice runout just to train your mind on thinking all 9 balls ahead. The snow is now picking up. It's a blizzard. Got to play pool in a blizzard. You know we were pool players. Hey, here's the layout we're looking at on the rack we're about to run coming up, and you'll note that the 8 ball is not on the table, so we can assume that you are the breaking player and you made the 8 and this is what you left yourself. And here's a graphic of the layout, and if you want you can go ahead and pause it right here and print this out or save it, whatever you want to do. You can screenshot it and put it on your desktop and study it. And I really think you should practice this run out if you're trying to gear your mind toward thinking all 9 balls ahead. You see the pattern? Here's the cue ball. We're shooting a 1 in the side, and we're drifting down on this 2 ball. If we get straight in on the 2, you can always just draw it back because you're trying to get pretty much straight in on the 3, maybe a little bit of an angle to bounce off this rail here and get back on the 4. but it's okay if we get straight in on the 3. You just don't want to get on the right side of the 3 and wind up going down table or back up table. If we come up high on the 2, we can always just go down to this rail and bounce off. If we come up low on the 2, we can always just draw it back for that straight in shot on the 3. So either way, here's where we're trying to be on the 3, and we're just rolling up for the 4. There's a number of ways you can shoot the 4. You shouldn't try to get too perfect, because if you get too low, you're going to be banging into the 9. You're going to have to draw off the 9 to get back on this 5 ball, and you really don't want to upset that 9 ball. So it's best to come up right about where the 3 ball is now. To go down to this bottom round, bounce up for a pretty much straight in shot on the 5. We don't have to be straight in. If you come up short on the 5, you can always just bounce off this route, and you'll wind up getting closer to the 6 ball anyway. And from there, you can roll up on the 6, or you can hit a stop shot on the 6, and then when you shoot the 7, you can bounce off the rail and get straight in on the 9. Or if you come up low on the 7 ball, you can always just draw it back for a stun draw shot and get straight in on the 9. So that's the basic pattern. And you're going to have to tweak it here and there, as you'll see in the coming video. Let's get on with it. Alright, real quick, let's go through this rag. Here's the cue ball right here. The cue to the 1 to the 2, 2 to the 3, 3 to the 4, 4 to the 5, 5 to the 6, 6 to the 7, 7 to the 9, because the 8 ball went on the break. And right here on the 1, you just kind of want to trickle up on the 2 ball. It's not a real thin cut, but it's not going to stop the momentum from going up the table. So you basically just want a clear shot on the 2 ball. And there's several ways you can get from the 2 to the 3. In this case, you should go down to the top rail and bounce off. And do your best to try to get straight in on the 3. And if not, to come up a little bit short, a little bit on top of the table, or the left side of the 3 ball. You don't want to come up on the wrong side of this 3 ball, which would be the right hand side of the 3. And that's what I'm looking at now. And this is a little deceiving, this 9-4. If we get the cue ball right to where the 3 ball is now, we can still cut this in and bounce off 2 rails and go back up on the 5, which is what I kind of wind up doing. I'm just going down to the top rail here and bouncing off. You could actually, even if you wanted to, you could have played that 3 for this corner here and just rolled up a little bit on the 4 ball, and still it would have been easy to get on the 5. You just don't want to come up underneath this 4 ball, because then when you cut the 4 ball in, you're going to wind up hitting the 9 as you try to get back on the 5, and that could tie up the 9-7 and just leave the 9 anywhere on the table. So once you have it all planned out, you don't want to be moving balls around. But yeah, you should really consider practicing this run out, because it's easy to think all 9 balls ahead here. It's just kind of made for doing it, and that will train your brain into getting used to thinking all 9 balls ahead and seeing the whole pattern after the break. I'm just going down to the bottom round, bouncing off. I bounced off a little too hard. I didn't want that much of an angle on this 5 ball. And the issue here is you want to hold the cue ball down table and try to get straight in on the 6. And the only way to do that is with left hand English to kill. You don't want the cue ball coming back up your down table. Alright, so a little bit of top and a little bit of left, and that should keep the cue ball from getting away from you. Left-hand English will spin the cue ball clockwise, and that will kill the angle coming down off the rail and send it up table. And I don't think we're exactly straight in. I could probably stop this and stun draw it back a little bit, but I'd rather go to this rail because I'm looking for the exact angle on the 7 ball to just stun draw this out to right behind the 9 ball. Now you could try to put top on this and go over and top left and spin it that way and come back around this way. But I think it's moving the cue ball too much. And it's just a little too much work for a very easy shot. Just a little bit of draw on this. If this was straight in, the cue ball would stop. And if we were straight in, which would be out a little more toward center table, another foot out toward center table, and it would be a stop shot. And you could do that if you were there and shoot this 9 ball in this corner, or just even come a little further down, just about an inch. But we're not straight in, so, and it's not a stop shot, it's a stun draw, just a hair, a half tip of bottom. I know it looks like I'm putting a lot on it, but I'm not. Just a half tip of bottom, straight center bottom. And that's it. We're going to run through it all over again without all the yakking, and then I'm going to put a bonus clip in here that was sitting in my files. Sometimes when I don't run a rack and I'm forced to shoot a billiard or a carom or, something and make the 9 ball before I run the whole rack, I save it sometimes in my files and give you guys a double header. And I think I'm going to do that at the very end of this video. So if you want, hang around for a couple more minutes. And if you don't want to, that's cool too. Thanks for stopping by, guys.